and welcome to another edition of the Bleed Los podcast. This week's podcast is presented by our partners at BetOnline. BetOnline remains your number one source for all of your sports betting this season, everything from the NFL playoffs to the pro and college basketball, UFC, MMA, and so much more. You'll always find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, game trends at BetOnline. With live betting options, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. BetOnline is truly the fastest and easiest way to bet on all of your favorite leagues and events. If you head on over to betonline.ag today, or if you use your mobile device today to join, you will receive a 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure that you use our promo code, which is BELIEVE, BLEAV, to receive your rewards. betonline.ag, where the game starts. And stopping by the Carne Asada for a few minutes, someone that we've all looked forward to talking to for a minute. He's a big-time prospect in the Dodger system, a name that a lot of folks have been hearing, and I'm excited to talk to him. Gavin Stone. Gavin, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing good, man. Thank you for joining us. So let's just get right into it. You're rated as a highly touted prospect. I know the media rigmarole is always going to be along the lines of where you're at, but I know that's not how the Dodgers do it, right? The Dodger way is a little different. And the whole thing of, when you hear about prospects and all that, you don't really get to see them. But we actually heard from some major league guys that said you got some stuff. You have some stuff that you probably could have thrown for the big team last year. So I wanted to ask you, starting there, instead of talking about the minor league stuff, how was it thrown to the big guys, and did that get in your head any at all?
Oh, it was awesome. First off, it was awesome to get up there and go, pitch to those guys and experience what that Dodger Stadium feels like a little bit. Just meeting those guys. I had a lot of fun with it. It was a one-time experience, like a lifetime experience. But I mean, we were here for the Stay Hot camp, and I knew that, I was going to be in the Stay Hot camp, and I wasn't going to get called up unless, something major happened. But it was a great feeling, just to get that opportunity to, go to Stay Hot camp and be an option for the playoffs. But, we got a long year this year. Hopefully that happens this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I wanted to ask you, you had kind of a weird, I don't want to say weird, but unconventional, even kind of role in college, because you were a closer. And then when you were a junior, if I'm not mistaken, they threw you into the rotation. And then also even when you were drafted, the whole, slot money and all that stuff was kind of under the radar too. So with all of that, when you got into the organization, how open were the Dodgers with everything as far as kind of what they expected from you, and kind of how did they throw you into everything?
Yeah, I think just with the Dodgers organization, they have a lot of leniency and let us kind of mold our own path a little bit. And I'm thankful for that, because I definitely got, a lot of experience in watching other guys and learning, what I'm supposed to do, and just watching people come through and go out and, learning what's right and wrong. And the Dodgers have a lot of leniency, so that just allowed me to, just be myself and do what I wanted to do, and be very personable with a lot of people and get to know them and know how they operate. And that allowed me, just to get close with a couple of coordinators here that I really clicked with. And I think that's been a big part of, the Dodgers, the success that I've had is because of them. But I never looked at it as, just being under the radar or just being a low slot. I always wanted a great opportunity for myself, and I wanted to create a great opportunity for myself. And I feel like that's, the Dodgers gave me that chance, and I'm very thankful for it. And I'm just trying to make the best of it right now.
No, absolutely. And I mean, I feel like you're taking advantage of that as well. I always ask pitchers, as a former pitcher myself, because obviously everyone's stuff is graded, right? Everyone says, your fastball sits at this place, slider, whatever. What do you think is your best pitch?
I mean, I would have to go with the changeup. I've developed a lot of confidence in it, since college, and going back to, the coordinators that we have in our organization, they're great. They're great minds. They know what they're talking about. And One of them, by the name of Ryan Denick, he actually showed me the grip, and helped me on my changeup. And ever since then, it's just been a big pitch for me. But I didn't have it in college. In college, I was always just a two seam slider guy, which I don't throw either of those pitches now. Or I throw a two seam, but obviously my slider has gotten a lot better since college. But yeah, I'd have to go with the changeup, obviously, just because of the swing and miss and the confidence that I have in the pitch.
Well, you threw a changeup right there because most guys will go fastball or something else off speed, right? So, Juan, I think again we've talked about this. The Dodgers are getting the youth right, and that answer was the perfect answer. Go ahead, Juanito.
Well, yeah. Well, first of all, Gavin, I hear. Would you call that a twang, or what would you call that in your accent there?
Yes. Oh yeah. Well, this is normal back home. I've spent 2 months in Arkansas, so it's kind of stuck with me now. Just hearing everybody around during the season, like throughout the season, it'll kind of drift away from me. I'll kind of sound a little bit normal, but for now, it's the Southern accent that we're riding with.
So let me ask you this. Everybody tells me that in the South, it's all football, 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 football. Is king in the South. But when you come out and you're a baseball player, how did you get interested in baseball, or was football your first love out there?
Oh, so I went to a small 2A school in Arkansas, and so we didn't even have football at my high school. So I never even got the opportunity to play it. So that's why I was so big into probably baseball and a couple other outdoor sports, just because they were outdoor and basketball's indoor. But that I think that's why I kind of got big into baseball, is just because we didn't have football and I never got the opportunity to play it. So baseball has always been my first love.
So who were the teams that you followed as a kid?
The Cardinals, being so close to Missouri, you kind of just follow the Cardinals, and when Albert Pujols and David Eckstein and Scott Rowland were on that squad, that's who I watched. That's who I liked watching, and so ever since then, we were big Cardinals fans.
All right, I'm gonna help you out here. When you become a regular in LA and a huge star, we got beef with the Cardinals, and it goes back a long time, Gavin. And I know you're a young kid, so you may not know the history of how much the Cardinals just kick our ass. Every once in a while, but just be careful mentioning the Cardinals in LA when you get to LA. That's all I'm saying.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
looking out for you, Matt.
I'm definitely not a Cardinals fan anymore. I'm definitely not a Cardinals fan. After they beat us a couple times in Springfield, definitely not.
So you have kind of become this urban legend in the sense of you've been going up in all the different levels in the minor league system. You started in Rancho Cucamonga, then you were in Great Lakes, then you were in Tulsa. You ended the season in Oklahoma City. What was the biggest adjustment for you going to a different level? Were there any surprises? Were there anything that you experienced that you were like, whoa, where did that come from?
For me, I just try to make it very simple. I mean, it's the same game. Just I got to step on the mound and throw strike one. My stuff's got to be there. But no, it was a very easy transition. We have a lot of great guys in the Dodgers clubhouse, and I think that's just a credit to the Dodgers because, I mean, they don't bring in bad people. I don't feel like anybody you talk to won't say a negative thing about anybody. I mean, they're all great people, and the players that we bring in are very personable, and so they just make the clubhouse a lot better feeling and make it comfortable for new guys to come in. And I was very thankful that I got to go to 3, affiliates this year and meet a lot of new people and develop those relationships. So it was very easy for me. I mean, just making those relationships, and I think that is key.
Look, this is a safe space, Gavin. You can say whatever you want. You don't have to be humble. I mean, we hear all these stories of all these guys who struggle going from low A to single A, and you just made it look easy. I mean, you had like ridiculous numbers on here. And meanwhile, we're hearing all these other names, but you're the one that's smoking everybody. So when you're going to like double A or you're going to triple A, did you have any experience with any major leaguers that are doing rehab assignments and then you just made them look silly at the plate, being like, hey, my name is Gavin Stone. Welcome to the minor leagues there, veteran?
I have a lot of faith in my catchers. I feel like my catchers know what they're doing. So most of the time, I don't even recognize who the hitter is. And so I just try and, treat every hitter the same. And, I got to get them out at the end of the day or else I won't get called up. And so that's just my mindset on the mound is no matter who's in the box, no matter what's going on, you got to get that out or you got to get through that inning or, you got to make a pitch, or that's it. You get stuck. And that's one thing that I don't want to do is I don't want to get stuck. And, simplifying everything and just executing what I can do instead of just thinking about the hitter. So yeah, I don't really focus on who I face, but one guy I did get to face was Kyle Lewis. He won the Rookie of the Year a couple years ago, so that was pretty sweet.
So, are you conscious of that when you're in the minor leagues? Are you aware of the big league roster? When you say you don't want to be stuck down here, when you see, oh man, the big league roster is stacked. I mean, how am I going to break through that rotation? Is that are you consciously aware of that, or do you just feel like, hey man, if I'm good enough, there's no way they can ignore me?
Yeah. Then that's been the whole mindset the whole time is if I'm good enough, then they can't ignore me. And so that's what I've been trying. That's what I've been trying to do, since I got to pro ball, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. And I just feel like if being undervalued and being a low slot pick and you kind of just have to have that mindset, I guess, and that just allows it to make it a lot easier for me, just because I have one goal, and that's my goal, and that's get people out and not don't be ignored.
I'm always curious how do your parents deal with you being far away and they're not being able to see all your games, or do they go and see all your games?
Well, thankfully, Tulsa and Oklahoma City are fairly close to Arkansas, so they got to come out a lot last year. But um, the first year I was in Rancho, and they didn't get to come out a lot, but last year they did. So it was really refreshing. Get to see a lot of familiar faces quite often. On the weekends. So it was good. It was good, and I hope that they get to come out a lot this year too.
Damn, Alonzo, I wish I would be this good that I could just nonchalantly be like, "Hey, man, baseball's easy. I don't understand what these guys are talking about. I don't know why these guys are struggling so much."
Well, here's the thing though, is like we talk about it, right? Is the development that the Dodgers pride themselves on, right? And obviously it's a youth movement this upcoming year, and even a guy like Gavin has a shot at making the roster potentially, right? But the thing that's terrifying about Gavin Stone is this. So in Double A, he had an ERA of 160 over 14 games. In 6 games, granted a sample size, his ERA went down 1.16. That's preposterous, Gavin. And yet you're still acting like it's whatever. I'm here to do my job. But also, that's a testament to the organization because he also knows the task at hand. Because let's be honest, the Dodgers are also stacked at pitching, right? And that's what I wanted to ask you, Gavin, with the veterans that the Dodgers have, and you were lucky enough to be around some of them, whether it was rehab assignments or in big league camp and all that. How, what is it that you kind of take away from seeing those guys that kind of get your mind right, if that makes sense?
Yeah, just watching their daily work. I mean, you watch those guys and you can just tell that it's different. This is their job. This is what they love to do, and you can tell that in every single one of these guys that I've seen walk in. I mean, if you don't love it, then you're not going to make it. That's the biggest thing that I've gotten from just watching these guys and learning from them, and just what they've relayed to me and the advice that they've given me is, if you don't love it, you're not going to make it. And all these guys love it, and you can tell, and it makes it a great organization to play for, because not only do the players love it, but the coordinators love it, and everybody just meshes so well together. But going into big league spring training, that's something I'm looking forward to, is just watching and observing these guys and learning from them, and asking questions and being personable and talking to them and getting their insights on stuff. So I'm really excited for that, and we'll see what happens.
Well, and I have to ask this naturally because obviously social media, that's a thing now, right? I grew up in the cusp of, I had a MySpace page. That's how old I am. Juan, I think, probably had a MySpace page too.
No, I used to write notes in class. That's how
Oh,
we
see, there it is.
communicated.
He had pigeons sending notes
Yeah, I had
between
the
houses.
pigeons sending. The way we knew where everybody was hanging out were all the bicycles that were outside someone's house. That's how we knew where everybody was hanging out.
That's how we were when we were little. We would drive around in the summers on our bikes looking for people to play baseball, sandlot baseball, backyard baseball. But kids don't do that anymore.
That gives me hope because that even wasn't that long ago. I mean, my kid now is like, no, I mean, I thankfully my kid likes to go to the library that's around here, but that's about it. The rest of the time it's like, hey, can I go play Fortnite with my buddies? Okay, cool. Yeah. But I gotta ask, do you or do your family or does anyone ever get in your ear about all the hype that's around you?
Oh no, my family does a great job of just. I don't like to talk about, baseball in general. I love baseball, but I don't like to talk about, all of the, just things that have happened. But so they're very good about that. And they treat me like the same person that I have always been to them, and that's their son. And I'm very thankful for that, and that it's not the other way around.
I keep telling you, Juan, the kids are going to be all right in this organization because of stuff like that. The Dodgers have cultivated a good culture. I have to ask you, while you're home, while you're in Arkansas, obviously you have some free time. You're working out, staying in shape. We have to say that so the Dodgers don't get mad. But while you're home, what is it that you like to do while you're home?
Oh, well, see, I'm only home, just for those 2 months.
Yeah,
we duck hunt, play basketball, pick up basketball, hang around family. Really, they're all there is to do really right now is to hunt. Like we duck hunt a lot. And it's always great because I get to hang out with, my buddies back home and, get to build those connections with them again and relate to them again. So that's always good, just to be back home and wind down with them. Before stuff starts to get going again.
I am too tropical to duck hunt. A buddy of mine and I went years ago, and I'm not built for that because I prefer palm trees and stuff like that. A little bit of humidity.
Oh, I do too. Trust me. Don't get me wrong. I hate being in the cold. But I love killing ducks.
That's fair. That's fair. I always ask this to guys because, as you know, a lot of guys that go pro sometimes don't get the full college experience, and you got the full college experience. I wanted to ask you, which do you prefer? Kind of as working your ranks up in the pros, obviously you're getting paid is the difference, or did you prefer the college experience?
No, I mean, I loved going to college just because of the people that I got to meet, and I developed great relationships, and my best friends are from college. And so I'm very thankful that I got to go to college, and UCA was a great spot for me, just mid-major D1 in Arkansas. It was a great spot for me. And I'm very thankful for that opportunity, but I do like pro ball a lot more. Pro ball has been a lot of fun for me, getting to interact with great minds and great people and being around the game as much as we can because we play every day and we're at the field 12 hours a day, it seems like. So, just being around the game a lot more is makes it a lot more enjoyable.
How many guys do you live with when you're in season?
So starting last year, they paid for our apartments, so we only had to live with one other person. So that was really nice. But the prior year, whenever I was in Rancho, we had probably 6 guys in a 2-bedroom house, and it doesn't work, but we made it work.
Well, I mean, that's the reason I asked, because, the stark contrast, it's a little different, right? Because you're not packed in like sardines, eating PB&Js, and now you at least have an apartment you might have a hot and spicy.
Yeah, you're right. Hey, those are good too. I hammer peanut butter and Nutellas every day. That's my snack, butter and Nutellas. I'll eat those till the day I die.
But also, they're not terrible for you. Just like if you were just to eat just bagels and cream cheese, big stark difference. Go ahead, Juanito.
Well, we're going to start wrapping things up, Gavin. But one of the things I want to point out to our listeners and to our viewers, Gavin talked about how you need to love this. I want you guys to know this, all right? He's in Arizona right now getting ready for the season, and you're staying, with 4 other guys right now, Gavin?
Yeah.
and you guys got air mattresses, all over the floor. This is the struggle again, and this is why I advocate all the time. Players need to get paid. They need to get paid because there's so many years where they struggle. Where he just mentioned it. Last year was the first year they started paying for their housing. Before we would hear all these nightmare stories about minor leaguers. So, Gavin, what I wanted to let you know, what I wanted to ask you was, in terms of the struggle. I know baseball is easy for you, but there are some times that you are going to face adversity, and the mental aspect of the game. How do you prevent it from consuming you? I hear this from major leaguers where they say, "Hey, man, it's all about confidence." A lot of the times when I struggle, it's not because of my mechanics. It's because of my mental aspect. Mentally, I'm not right. What is your mental preparation for the game, for playing baseball?
Yeah, So last year I actually tried to I guess take a bigger jump and practicing my mental before going out to starts and just throughout the day, and I think that really helped. Just because I just try to simplify things and be as simple as I can, because I know if I do what I have to do, then good things are going to happen. And so I think that's just the approach that I have to have, with my mental, is just to simplify things and only control what I can control. I mean, that's the big thing you hear, is control what you can control. And it's true. And it's true. And so I try not to worry about, outside factors, such as, just living situations or, just other things like that. You know, and that's the thing, is all these guys have a consistent mindset. They come in each day with one goal on task, or one goal on mind, and they get it accomplished every day. And so I think that just speaks volumes to the mindset and the mentality and the consistency that they have, and how strong they have to be mentally, and how, I guess, obedient they are to be doing it for so long. But yeah, that's something that I tried to elevate last year, was just, taking a bigger jump in my mental game. And I think that played dividends, all year.
Okay, we're going to end the show the way we always end the show. We refer to our show as the carne asada, Gavin. I don't know how familiar you are to Mexican food, but being that we're all Mexicans on this show, it's just, we're just hanging out and we're just talking. So this is a series of rapid fire questions that we like to call kickback questions. So my first question is, I know you're a golfer. So this might date me, but are you a Caddyshack fan or a Happy Gilmore fan?
I love Adam Sandler. I've always told people this since I was in high school, is I just want to be famous so I can meet Adam Sandler. That's my goal. And so that I love Adam Sandler. Happy Gilmore is probably my all-time favorite movie, if not top 3 at least. So I'm gonna have to go with Happy Gilmore.
All right, Kevin, you're halfway there, because my girl tells me I dress like Adam Sandler. So you're halfway to meeting Adam Sandler.
That's perfect.
Mexican Adam Sandler.
Mexican Adam Sandler.
Yeah, that'll work.
You mentioned basketball a lot. I have to wonder, are you a Memphis Grizzlies fan?
I am. Well, I mean, I guess you could say just because I'm around the area, but I don't follow basketball like that. But I do love basketball. I played it in high school, and it was a lot of fun. But I mean, I hope the Grizzlies are second in the West right now, something like that.
But I mean, that's funny to me that you like playing basketball, but you don't like to follow basketball. Do you just hate all sports, and you're just one of those guys that I just do this to pay the bills, man. I'd rather be duck hunting.
No, that's the reason why I don't. Is because I love baseball. I just follow baseball. Literally, when we get home, all we do is baseball. That's all it is.
All right, let me call an audible then. Are you a Jordan or a LeBron guy?
See, that's tough. LeBron's done it for so long that I have to give. I mean, you almost have to give it to LeBron, but I like watching Jordan better. Maybe because it was in a different area. Maybe people were smaller back then, or the competition level wasn't as great, or whatever people say. But I like watching Jordan a lot better than LeBron.
The only answer is
everyone's gonna come at you. All the old heads.
Yeah.
When
Myself
Jerry
included.
Hairston interviews, Gavin, be careful because you cannot say anything bad about Michael Jordan.
Yeah, because we're gonna have to bob and weave that from Harry.
Yeah.
But the only correct answer is Michael Jordan. Go ahead, Juan.
No, I'm with you, Gavin. I mean, it's an unfair question for Gavin. I mean, when you watch the Michael Jordan videos, did you watch them in black and white? I mean, you're too young to be watching the Michael Jordan stuff. You're clearly a LeBron guy.
Well, thank God for the Last Dance.
Yeah.
You go. There you go. All right. So we're going to end the show the way we always end the show. As I mentioned, you're on the show with a bunch of Mexicans here. And when you come to LA, we're going to help you out with this. But we need to know, do you like tacos, Gavin? If you do like tacos, what is your favorite taco? And can you get good tacos in Arkansas?
You cannot. You cannot get good tacos. Like Arizona, anything west, you cannot find any of these tacos. Street tacos. I did find some tacos in Costa Maya that were unbelievable.
What were they? What kind?
I guess they were carne asada.
Okay. So is that your favorite then? Your go-to?
Yeah. I would have to say so.
All right. So when you make the team and you're a mainstay at Dodger Stadium, we're going to come down there and we're going to bring you some tacos. We're going to take you on the tour of LA, and you will be an honorary Mexican by the time we're done with this, Gavin. You're just going to be eating Mexican food.
I love that. I love that. I love food. So anything that, entails food, I'm there.
I just like how he was straight up like, you cannot find good tacos here. He didn't even hold back.
You can't. I mean, you're gonna go to just some Mexican restaurant that you can't find good tacos. It's so hard to find good tacos.
I really want to be there, Alonzo, because I want to hear Gavin tell the restaurant with that accent. Yeah. These tacos suck, man. You call these tacos?
Tacos?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just Arkansas, you need to get it together. I mean, that's just where it's at. Get your shit together, Arkansas.
I agree.
Or as every Mexican calls it, Arkansas. So get it together,
Arkansas.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Gavin, you're always welcome here at the Carne Asada, whether we have tacos or not. Sometimes we get pizza, we call audibles. But you're always welcome here to stop by, and we would love to catch up with you as the season goes along, because apparently baseball's easy, so we would love to talk about that with you.
I just try to simplify. It's not easy by no means. I just try to make it as simple as possible.
Hey, I subscribe to the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. So I can respect that. So whatever works, that's what you got to do. Gavin Stone, if you're not following him on the socials, go find him. Gavin, where can the people find you?
I'm on Instagram at Gavin B Stone. Really anything. Twitter, Instagram. That's really all I have. Gavin B Stone.
Go do what I'm going to do. Go follow him, and we'll catch up with you down the road. Gavin, thank you for the time, and good luck the rest of good luck with the season. Hasn't even started yet.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me on.
You're always welcome. Thanks, Gavin. Juanito, I think the kids are all right. I've said that before. I'll say it again. That now that we've seen, some of us have seen Gavin pitch. Now that we've heard Gavin as a person, I mean, you can't help but root for the guy, right?
Dude, I was very impressed by. He's not buying. He won't take it. Nope. He will not take the bait, man. I mean, when you read off his numbers, his ERA, like the guy went through 3 levels last year. All right. And every time I hear this from people, there's always an adjustment. People always struggle when they move up a level. This dude didn't. Like his ERA was lower, and yes, the sample size was only 6 games.
Right.
But his ERA was lower in AAA than it was at AA. And he's facing dudes in AAA. It's not like, it's just a bunch of chumps. But this guy is just so nonchalant about like, yeah, it is. Yeah, man, I'm just doing my thing. It really is like he has that mentality like, dude, this is just baseball, man. It's like I'm just going out there and doing what I'm doing, which I would love to see him at the major league level when he gets in a jam. When right. The bases are loaded. Like, if he still has that serial killer mentality where he's not fazed by it, then he might be a real winner. I mean, he might be one of those guys that it's going to be like, yeah, everybody was talking about Bobby Miller. Everybody was talking about all these other guys. It was really Gavin Stone was the guy that everyone should have been talking about.
No, and I mean, we've heard it from countless people. Bobby Miller, Gavin Stone, they're the future, right? They are, the upcoming. And I mean, listen, the reason I brought up those stats, anyone that knows me knows I don't like to do that sort of stuff to guys, because at the end of the day, you still got to earn your stripes. The old saying in Spanish, "El tigre necesita otro rayo." But I think the reason it was important to point out, he played in the Pacific Coast League. Like you said, Juan, those are dudes. But also, those ballparks play big. There's a lot of home runs that are hit in the PCL, and it's not an easy league to pitch in. So I think at the end of the day, that transitional growth is good, because, like you said, going from levels, his ERA dropped, when in reality there should have been a bit of a transition period, right? But again, the thing I liked is the mindset. I'm going out there to do my job. And no disrespect to the Great Lakes. That's A ball. It's high A ball. I'm not saying that league isn't anything and they're a bunch of chumps. He beat the ERA went down, right? And you just have to point that out, because the guy has stuff. Roger, what was your takeaway? I mean, you've been a lifelong Dodger fan. You've paid attention to the prospectus list for years. What was your takeaway from Gavin?
Just just those same things. I mean, he was one of those guys that just like jumped on everybody's radar like last year, right? Like, I think at the beginning of the year, like, you really hadn't heard much of Gavin Stone, and then as the year progressed, it's like, okay, this guy moved up a level. Now he moved up another level, and by the end of the year, he was pitching to the Dodgers, pre playoffs, right? So that's how much he improved, or got better, and just made that jump. And I think we had Max Muncy on. This is the guy that Max Muncy was like really impressed with him, is what he had. And I mean, he was super impressed that he thought he could have pitched for them in the postseason. So that's I'm really curious to see when he's going to get to the show this year. Where it's going to be, towards the end of the year, or will he be up in mid-year, and how he's going to adjust to now being in the show. So that's going to be interesting. How is he going to struggle? Is he going to be able to come out and kind of show the glimpses of who he is, and then kind of get sent back down, and then he comes back up? It'll be interesting to see how he responds when he gets that first call up.
I think he'll transition okay, because the thing is he has experience as a relief pitcher, and he has experience as a starter. That's kind of why I asked him that question. In college, he had saves, all that stuff at UCA, and then his junior year, they transitioned him to a starter. Remember, they transitioned him his junior year as a starter. That's 3 years, right? So I don't foresee it being an issue. But the thing that I'm excited to see is he loves baseball. Like, that's the all you can take away from all that stuff is, he's got a good head on his shoulders. Obviously, his parents did a great job with him. But man, does he love baseball? He hates basketball. He hates other sports. He's not a fan of those other sports. But at the end of the day, he eats, breathes, and lives baseball. And you know what? That in itself is enough for me to get excited to see him at the next level, because if he's already pitching like that to dudes, I can't imagine how he's going to be pitching to the dudes. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. The other thing I was really impressed about, sometimes when we're talking to these players and you ask them a question, I feel like you can see the wheels turning in their head about how should I answer this? What do I want to say? I didn't see any of it with this kid. Like, I asked him anything, and he literally just told me whatever was on his mind. I hope he stays like that. I really don't hope that he becomes a little more guarded once he gets into the show and he starts talking to guys like Dylan Hernandez, and they start asking him questions to try to goad him, let's say, on days where he had a bad start or something like that. I was really impressed by how laid back he was. And the man he's a duck hunter. He's a man of the people. And now we know that Mexican Adam Sandler will be making an appearance, and I can't wait to go around with my twang just saying, you call these tacos?
I did like how he basically told Arkansas to get their shit together, and that for me is that's signs of growth and an expectation there with the youngster. I also like how he's not jaded by where he's at in the ranks. He keeps his head above water, and he goes about it the right way. And you know what? A part of that too is cultural. Cultural things like that are super important. And that's one of the reasons why I make a heavy emphasis on culture, around baseball teams. and baseball stuff, because a lot of people don't realize the impact that has on you, because if you don't go about your business the right way, then you're not going to be successful. The future is very bright for Gavin Stone. Very, very bright. And I think it wouldn't be at all out of the realm if he does make it to the show this year, especially with the youth movement that they're putting in place. But it also goes to show the Dodgers' depth is preposterous. I've said it before. I will say it again, because 2 of their arms have still not made it to the show that are, top 10 prospects. And yet a lot of people have said you can go 1A, 1B with a couple of them. And realistically, it's 3, because Ryan Pepio is in the mix too, right? So there's the future is bright. And I understand why Max Muncy even said what he said when we talked to him, that, hey, we didn't need to make the splashy signing. We went out and did what we needed to do. Now we just got to go out and handle the damn thing. And I'm pretty excited about that. So are we all in agreement here? I mean, I know Roger's not a betting man, and neither, Juan used to be, but he had for personal reasons, had to step away. That Gavin will be in the show this year.
I think he'll be there. When, like I said, that I figure maybe towards the end, I think we'll see him.
Juan,
I'm not sure. I really feel they're gonna protect him the way they did with Urias. I feel they're gonna be with this guy. I feel for him to move up as quickly as they have, I think they're going to be very protective of him. I think there's going to be a limit on his innings and stuff like that. I mean, I'd be surprised, but I mean, what am I going to do? Am I going to argue with Max Muncy when Max Muncy tells us, hey, the guy could have been on the playoff roster? Yeah. Like, if Muncy's saying, like, he saw his stuff, if he's saying his stuff plays with major leaguers, how do you keep that guy off the major league roster? But we all know the Dodgers front office are risk averse. They're going to do, but who knows? Their hand might be forced, because by the end of the year, I mean, we don't know. There might be injuries or anything like that. They might be forced. They might not have a choice, and they might have to go to Gavin Stone. But hey, I was very impressed with the fact that even though he's never had a good taco, he already knows what bad tacos are. Yep. And that's why he was just like, nah, I don't really have a good taco. So I can't wait until he comes to LA so we can give him some tacos.
That's called growth, Juan, because when you can admit that something is trash before you've had a good one, then you know. A real ones know. They understand. If you know, you know. I will say this last thing I'll say about Gavin, to your point, Juan. I think what it's going to come down to is, like you said, some injuries might play a factor in what they do. But also, if he comes out guns a-blazing in camp, I think they're going to continue to let him develop his thing. But also, some people have said he's undersized. I feel like I think that's a fair criticism, that he's undersized. But you can't say that about a lot of guys, because, I mean, they said the same thing about Pedro Martinez, right?
Yeah,
he's undersized.
That's where I was going.
Yeah, can't do it. So, and even to a certain degree, you could say that about Walker Buehler even, right? And so I think it's worked out for those guys. So I'm not overly worried about, but I do think they'll protect his the chambers, right? How many bullets he throws this year, because he is still a young guy. He's 24. I know a lot of people say, oh, that's an older prospect. But listen, he hasn't been to the show yet, so you gotta build him up, because that is a different beast. I'm excited for Gavin. Hopefully it all works out. But in the end, if you're able to go watch him play. That's going to be a dude one day. But we will go ahead and wrap this guy up. Big thanks to BetOnline for presenting this week's episode of the podcast. If you head on over to betonline.ag and use our promo code, which is BELIEVE, BLEAV, you will receive a 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Big thanks to them, from your boys Alonso y Juan and the babyface gimmick in the sky, Roger, who is a heel, by the way. This has been another edition of the Bleed Los podcast. We will catch you down the road. And thanks again to Gavin Stone. Stay safe, stay up, and we'll see you soon.